Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently prepared to do Gemini 11. So of course, after we dock with the Agena target vehicle, we're going to need to raise our apogee to at least 1,400 kilometers to qualify for completion of Gemini 11. And we do that through firing the engines on the Agena target vehicle, not by firing our rocket engines, or rather our rocket's engine, I should say. It's a subtle difference, but it is an important one. So let's iterate this up to Gemini 11. This is the penultimate flight of the Gemini series. Do we want to launch this with a scientist aboard? We're going to be going up to high orbit, which means that we can get a reset or two of the science bay materials. It might be best if we actually revert this back. So it's going to be a little bit of loading time. I will be right back, and we're going to go swap out Bill for Bob. See you guys in a moment. Okay, so here we are back on the pad, and this time we've got Bob. So we're going to throttle up, SAS on, and we still haven't fixed this stuff. That's fine. We're just going to hop in and do something like this. We'll pop this down to here and pop this down to here. I guess since this is the penultimate flight, there's not really that much point in fixing it in the VAB at this point, but whatever. Let's lift off. Let's go get this mission done. So we're going to have to dock up with an Agena target vehicle, and we have to choose which one. I want to go into the lower orbit, and then we'll push that up into the higher orbit. I think that'll make the most sense here. It doesn't actually matter which one we go for, but I think that that's probably the best way to go. Reason being, we can have both of these be somewhat higher for the next and final Gemini flight. It's not going to be anything all that special, to be honest. It kind of goes out with a whimper. So that's going to be interesting. I think we'll go to this higher one for that, but we should definitely begin our gravity turn over here, getting ourselves a little bit of horizontal speed and get our trajectory a little bit more set up here. What is our current apoapsis? 16 kilometers? Okay. Not too bad. So we're going to head on over this way, just making our way to the horizon at this moment. We're going to pick up a decent amount of speed while still fairly low here. We may actually want to just plop right onto prograde here. I think that's our best bet for the moment. So we'll do exactly that, and we're of course going to be staging here in about 20 seconds. Make that 15. Okay, this is ticking very strangely, but regardless, we're going to be out of fuel very soon in this stage. Apoapsis height of 55 kilometers, so it's not the highest apoapsis height, right? But that's okay. We're just going to continue pushing our way on up. 0.78 thrust to weight is always mildly spicy, but we know that that is definitely an underpowered high flight engineer. We definitely know that that is an underpowered first stage. No doubt about that one. But we're going to push our way up, and the Agena target vehicle is located in mildly an awkward location, but honestly, that should be decent for a rendezvous, all things considered. So I don't think we'll have to have all that many like phasing orbits or anything. Seems absolutely fine. Let's target an 80-kilometer apoapsis here. So really, we want to be right at the horizon here at this point. But that's 80 kilometers right now. I'm going to go to 81, though. There we go. So that's absolutely fine, and we'll set up our maneuver here, which is, of course, going to be a little bit heftier of a burn than we're used to at this juncture. And this is saying we're going to have to start the burn previously in time, but that is, in fact, false. Cool. So we're just going to make our way on up into space. We can physics warp our way up from here, really. Cool. And we're in space now, and we can see that we're going to start our burn, as expected, in about 30 seconds. So that's all looking good. So we're just going to circularize on up here. 20 seconds. 10, and now. Cool. As I said, this is going to be a little bit longer of a burn. We didn't get quite as much horizontal speed as we often do. A little bit more vertical speed out of that ascent, but that's fine. No major concerns here. So we're going to physics warp a bit as we work our way through this burn. 30 seconds. 20. And we can see that our maneuver node is drifting off here. Let's just correct that ever so slightly here. There we go. And our periapsis is lifting into the positives. And we're in orbit. Okay. We don't care about the eccentricity of this orbit. Just being in an orbit is good enough. So we're going to look to catch up with the Agena target vehicle, which of course we're in a faster orbit. So we will do that. The question is, how long will it take? That's reasonably far apart. What would it look like if we added an orbit to this? Okay. So a couple of phasing orbits. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all, actually. So it looks like it's going to be around where we are right now, but several orbits in the future. Okay, go away. I want to remove orbits from this. It's always awkward to press these buttons. Cool. So, I mean, this is going to be a separation of how much? 130 kilometers. Technically, we can handle that. That's not the end of the world, but I would like to bring that in a bit. It looks like a couple of meters per second radial is definitely going to be useful here. Yes. This looks like an excellent separation now. So that is a decent amount of radial burn. No doubt about that. But let's head on over and prepare for that. That's going to be after a couple of phasing orbits. But that's what we get for not even looking at where we are. It's fine. So we've got about a minute now, and let's get in position for this burn. 97.1 meters per second. And where are we in our orbit? Periapsis is going to be here? Okay. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But I think broadly it'll be okay. Right? That should be fine? Yes, that should be fine. We shouldn't be hitting any atmosphere at all. Perfect. So we've got about 30 seconds until this burn here. 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Phenomenal. So we're going to bring this on in. We are, of course, targeting this point. And our node is getting away from us a little bit here. Let's chase that down. Cool. 0.4 meters per second should be more than good enough. This is going to be a separation of 94.8 kilometers. So we're just going to warp our way over to about here. And we'll see what our relative velocity is going to look like. 129.4 meters per second. That's absolutely fine. No concerns whatsoever there. So we're going to head on in here. We can see the target vehicle coming up on us there. Phenomenal. So we do want to head over towards retrograde here. There we go. And we can see we're going to need a pretty hefty corrective burn here. So we're going to do exactly that, giving ourselves a correction burn about here. There we go. That's much better. It's definitely not perfect yet, but it is better. Just a little bit more correction out over this direction. There we go. How are we looking? 3.2 kilometers. A definite improvement. We're going to warp on in a little bit closer and let those nodes drift apart. And we can see we're currently about 2 kilometers apart right now. So, I mean, that's not absolutely correct, but we do need to change this a little bit. We're probably going to need to push towards target here pretty soon. Yeah, we're basically killing all of our relative target velocity. So we certainly should push towards target here. And that's absolutely fine. We're completely okay with doing that at this point. So how are we doing now? 2.2 kilometers, allegedly, but let's pull this right on over here. Okay. We're a little heavy for this reaction wheel, no doubt about that, but this is fine. Let's pull this on up. There we go. That looks good. Now we're only 8.1 meters per second apart, so we probably want to burn towards target a little bit here. Still doing a little bit of corrective burning, but not all that much or all that drastic at this point. Just something kind of like this will do fine. And let's bring that up to about 50 meters per second for now. And let's flip back on around to retrograde. Cool. So we see ourselves coming on in here at a reasonable clip. There we go. 600 meters out. And let's get ourselves a bit of braking going here. 200 meters out. And we're just continuing to slow this on down and do a little bit more correction. Wonderful. Okay, we're definitely seeing some drift here. No doubt about that. And are we going to impact? We actually did impact. Hilarious. Okay, that's fine. We are going to kill our relative speed here, and we'll get that under control. Okay, so at this point, this tumble, of course, needs to be fixed. Surprisingly, we still have electric charge here. That's nice. So we should definitely set as target and get flipped around for that. Okay, something along the lines of this. There we go. We're going to have to get additional turning done here, that's for sure. Okay, let's turn our RCS on at this moment. Actually, hang on. Do we have docking forces already? I would be kind of shocked about that if that was the case. Okay, so let's get lined up here. Just working on killing our relative momentum here. Oh, this is really awkward. Okay, gotcha. So we need something kind of like that. Freeze those physics. There we go. This was an awkward one, but it's all under control. Phenomenal. Okay. Freezing physics again, and I shouldn't have really used that engine, I don't think. We should really be using RCS at this point. That would be for the best. So let's move in on RCS power here. Basically, all we're trying to do is use docking forces to get us there at this point. So we just need to get close enough for docking forces to take over, which is exactly the goal here. That was the wrong direction. Okay, let's go in this way. Phenomenal. Okay, we're definitely tumbling off a little bit due to not having our reaction wheel on right now. So let's get that corrected a bit. And once we get close enough, docking forces will take over and is more than enough to flip this thing. The real question is, do we have enough fuel in this to bring us up to 1,400 kilometers using the engines of the Agena target vehicle? Well, we can definitely redo it with some fuel from here. We can refuel this engine. So that'll be fine. Next, we're going to shut down the Poodle engine and we're going to activate the Terrier engine. Now, this engine has not been activated before. I'm going to turn off gimbaling on this engine because this is a pretty weak joint here. I'm also going to turn off the reaction wheel. I'm just going to crank the wheel authority to 0% on the Probodobodyne Octo here, as well as this small inline reaction wheel. So we're going to get rid of all of that. We do not need that to be active. So at this point, we are going to start up a burn somewhere around here. And all we need is an apoapsis of 1,400 kilometers. So that is, of course, 140,000 meters? Is that right? No. 1.4 million meters. Okay, we could definitely do that. That's less than this. I'm actually thinking about maybe bringing that up a little bit higher. Ooh, that's a moon encounter. We do not need a moon encounter. Okay, let's bring this down and we'll set it to 10 million. That's definitely higher than the 1.4 million that they actually went to, but this will be a little more interesting, I think. So we'll do that, and hopefully by having the only reaction wheel being here and the only gimbaling being, well, off, hopefully that'll make this not wiggle around like spaghetti. That would be for the best. Oh, we're already supposed to be doing this burn? Hang on. Let's delay this a bit. It doesn't matter when we do this burn. Yeah, that's fine. That is absolutely okay. So we'll get into position for this. There we go. Now, I do actually want to make sure that we're facing the right direction. I want to control from here, which of course means we're facing the literal opposite direction from where we should be. So we're going to bring this right on around. Okay, somewhere around here. Now, I don't know how long this burn is actually going to be. That's going to be very interesting to find out. But we're going to use this engine for it, and we're going to do this in about 2 minutes. Okay. It can't figure out what's going on here. Well, it doesn't actually matter when we do this, right? So let's just lock to prograde, and let's just do this without a maneuver node. That'll be the easiest way, I think. We're probably going to require additional fuel from here. That's fine. We can definitely flow that fuel over. And we're just going to push up this apoapsis. So this engine is, of course, quite weak, right? But we know that. But this is part of the mission to use this engine to push us up. So all things considered, that looks good. Ooh, I do not like what happens when we physics warp that. Okay. So we're not going to physics warp this burn. That did not go well at all. That was, in fact, quite bad. It doesn't actually matter for this orbit. We just need to hit, technically, an apogee of at least 1,400 kilometers. Which, I mean, we're already at 300. It's looking absolutely fine there. I really wish we could physics warp this. That would be nice. If we had brought struts and an engineer along, we could have strutted this together to prevent that compression happening there and the bending effect. But overall, I think it's fine. No major concern here. So it looks like we might actually have enough fuel in the Agena target vehicle to do this. I'm guessing we do. We're already almost up to an apoapsis of 500 kilometers. Remember, it is exponential. Or maybe like logarithmic or something. I'm not sure what the actual term for that would be, but it does get easier to push up your apoapsis the further away from the center of gravity it is. So this is going to get faster and faster and faster, and we're up to about 600,000 meters, or 600 kilometers. So that's good. We are technically about halfway there. Approximately. But with this kind of an engine, it is going to be a bit of a long burn. That's for sure. But we're going to bring this right on up. 750 now. Perfect. As you can see, it is indeed getting faster. There's 800. And 850. And 900. I was a little bit overeager on that one, to be honest. But now it's 900. And we're definitely getting past the periapsis point here. That's okay. So maybe we should just put it in the 1.4 or 1,400 kilometer orbit. I don't know. We could get up to the 10,000. That said, we are running low on fuel in the Agena target vehicle. We will have to refuel it from the Gemini craft if we want to go further. So maybe we should just target 1.4. We might have the fuel for that. Yeah, we could do that. That's okay. It's a bit longer of a burn than I anticipated without the ability to physics warp, so I think we're just going to burn out the fuel of the Agena target vehicle and then call that good. So this is 1.5. Almost made 1.6. Okay, that sounds great. So now we're going to go around to the apoapsis here, or close to it. We're going to warp on up. Goodbye, Kerbal. We're in space high here. We're not actually getting any science. That's noted. So we're going to need to hop over to retrograde. I do want to re-enable our reaction wheels here. This is going to create some wiggling. And we'll turn this gimbal back on. This thing is devoid of fuel. Yeah, like I said, that'll create some wiggling. We could certainly toss it a little bit of fuel out of here, and I'm going to just refuel this. That'll be absolutely fine. Do we want to fully refuel the Agena target vehicle? It's actually not a terrible concept, now that I think about it. Yeah, I kind of like it. Let's do it. So we would then bring this guy open, and then we would bring this guy open, and we would say, in. This should be more than enough fuel. Yes, we're going to drain out this tank, but that's fine. And let's warp forward and let this fill on up. Perfect. So there's the Agena target vehicle refueled. At this point, we're going to undock from it. And I believe we're facing the wrong direction. Hang on. Oh, it's because we're controlling from here, isn't it? I want to control from here. What is going on here right now? Oh, we're in warp. I'm dumb. Okay, that would do it. So we're going to control from here, and we're going to flip around to retrograde. We're also going to undock here, and we're going to leave the Agena target vehicle in this high orbit. And I do want to get flipped around to retrograde. How long until apoapsis? 1 hour, 36 minutes? Sure. So that's fine. We kind of flung this out to the side. That's okay. It's going to remain in a substantially similar orbit. We're already past the apoapsis, so let's just bring this puppy on down. Oh, we need to reactivate this engine. That would help. Okay. Goodbye, Agena target vehicle. Our periapsis is already negative. I may have been overzealous with that one. Let's come back around to prograde. There we go. And let's bring this guy back on up. We want about 10 kilometers. There we go. That'll do. So we no longer need any of this fuel. We did consume more of it than usual, that's for sure. Let's go ahead and ditch it. And let's slowly fall on back to Kerbal. I'm not used to coming in this direction. Okay, that's exciting. Did we get flipped around to retrograde at some point? I don't think so. No, this is right. Yeah. Ish. Well, we're coming in on the 90-degree marker. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. We are, of course, going to physics warp. Hang on. Why are we going this way? Okay. This is going very well. This is going exceptionally well. Good thing we were able to flip around there. That could have been mildly problematic. I knew we were coming in the wrong direction. It was just, I was thinking about it completely wrong. I was thinking we came in retrograde for some reason. No, we were just facing the wrong way. I'm dumb. But then again, we already knew that. This is not news of any description, right? So this is not surprising. We're going to hop over to surface and just hold retrograde here. We've definitely picked up more heating than usual. This is due, of course, to coming in head first for no apparent reason. But we are slowing down nicely, and we are hitting our standard very awkward trajectory here. Or I guess not really trajectory, more attitude. Our standard, very awkward attitude. That said, we're going plenty slow. We're going to have a water landing, I'm 99% certain. Oh yeah, that's definitely a water landing. So that is wonderful. Let's bring this guy on down. So we can get our drogue chutes out, of course, and our main chute. There we go. And while we're on the way down, just to get this out of the way, let's collect our payment for this particular mission. There we go. And let me mark this off on our list here as done. Phenomenal. And we've only got one Gemini mission left. And it's kind of not that great. It's just dock up to an Agena target vehicle and perform a spacewalk. Yeah, I mean, it's a little underwhelming as a finale to the Gemini missions, but, you know, that was what they did. That was the reality. Sometimes, real life is underwhelming. So let's get this splashdown done and get these guys recovered. Apparently, we can grab a material study and some surface sample from here. That's fine. We can certainly do that. So material study sounds great. Bob is going to EVA and grab a surface sample. We're going to hop back in. We're going to collect all of that data. Bob is going to hop back out and grab a surface sample and climb sideways, apparently. We're going to restore the Science Junior. And we're going to conduct the material study. And we're going to collect that data and restore. And then we'll collect the materials, or rather conduct the material study again. And we'll hop right on in. There we go. And we'll recover our vessel. And that'll give us some amount of science. Not much, to be honest. It's not going to give us much. But it'll give us a little bit anyway. And any science that we can get is great. Yeah, we could run around and grab some extra science here from the various Kerbal sites. That is an option. But I'd rather not. So I think we won't for the time being. We've got one mission left in Gemini, and that's great. So you can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. That is not the button I'm looking for. There we go.